Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Yvette, your host for today. Before we get started with today's session, I would like to give a quick introduction about what this episode and what this whole series is about. So, this is the first part in a five-part series about connections. So, at GUI, connections have always been the core of our mission to connect people to the earth, to others, and also to themselves. So, for this month, we would like to invite you guys to join us in rediscovering these connections and also to find the intangible strengths that come with these connections. And we will be inviting people along to this show to share with us their views, their experiences related to these areas. And this series, I would think, is actually quite timely because this month we are celebrating National Day. So the slogan for this year's National Day will be Together, Stronger Singapore. And when somebody thinks about what makes the strength of a nation, usually the things that might come to mind would be tangible indicators like economic strength, military strength, diplomatic relations. But what this series and what GUI's work in general aims to highlight is that underneath all of these tangible strengths, there is an intangible strength underlying, and that is the intangible strength that comes from human connections that happen within the nation. And it's these human connections, these human interactions that is the undercurrent that pushes the nation forward towards a more sustainable, co-created future. And with that, keeping that in mind, we're just going to segue back to today's discussion about self-connection. And once again, we have Shirley as
Hello.
our guest for today. Yeah, Shirley is a volunteer at GUI. She is also a strong advocate for self-love and self-care. So, hey girl, good morning.
Hi, morning.
Yeah. So, can you give an introduction about yourself to the audience, please?
Hello, everyone. So I'm Shirley. Actually, I've been volunteering in GI since 2014.
Oh,
Yeah. So I came through the old platform, which is called SG Cares.
okay. I
Yeah.
think it's
So
still on though, actually. Yeah.
I think they renamed it now to
Giving,
Giving
yeah.
SG. Yeah.
Mm.
So I came through SG Cares, whereby you can actually register yourself for balik kampung.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so actually I do stay very near to GY and I never knew that this place exists.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of people actually. A lot of volunteers that I know. They say, actually, I didn't know this place existed, and I live in Khatib, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I came by, I did farm work,
Mm-hmm.
like some weeding, and I sweep the leaves, the dried leaves, and
Right.
yeah, that was it. And then we had community lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a very, very simple lunch, and I told myself, okay, I think I can come here more often. And then I started to come more often, like alternate Saturdays, or if I could, then every Saturday. That was how I really started in GUI.
That's
And
cool.
at that point of time, I was working in a corporate job.
Mm.
Yeah, so my weekdays were a no-no. So yeah, so very strangely, I always tell people that actually my full-time job is on Saturday, Sunday, where I go to GUI, and then my weekday job is just to pay the bills.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so to me, connection. If we are talking about connection in a broad category,
Mm.
in a broad perspective, lah, in that sense, is connection is probably how you relate to yourself more. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
weekends is like me time, but
Mm.
me time is not really you yourself and just you alone. It's really about meeting people. So that's what GUI has done for me for the past, wow, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's an interesting concept you brought up about the fact that self-connection sometimes involves external environments as well. Maybe we can talk about that later. But
Mhm.
just wanted to check with you, not check with you, wanted to ask you first, what does self-connection mean to you and why do you think it's important?
In the event of any let's say difficult moments
Mm,
or downtime, you have to
mhm.
tell yourself that you are going back up again.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
I
so I think
agree.
that being self connection also involves, because self connection also involves everything self, right? Self talk, self compliment, and etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not about boosting your ego, but it's also to keep yourself to have actually a balance. because there, like you say, right, there are a lot of external factors.
Mm.
You just reading the news can be depressing as well for some people.
Yeah.
It's like you self-talk, or you tell yourself, what else can I do?
Right.
Is there something nice that I can write about? Is there something nice that I can share?
Right.
uh how do I how do I reach out to more people,
Mm.
talking about, not talking about self connection but self love,
Mm-hmm.
because after knowing GI, actually I got in touch with so many people, touched so many lives,
Mm.
warmed many tummies because I cook in the kitchen and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think there's one thing about self connection, about cooking, is that because chef always want compliments, right? Naturally. But there
Yes.
was there was one statement that came from one of our participants that struck me since that day,
Mm-hmm.
was that so I asked her, oh, how was the food, etc. Say, oh,
Mm.
actually the food is just to warm the heart, it's not to warm the tummy. So
Oh.
actually palate doesn't really matters, in
Right.
that sense lah, as in whether the food was good or bad. It basically just warms the heart. So I think it kind of stuck with me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized even self connection when it comes to cooking, which is something I enjoy, or is that, are you willing to serve things that people like instead of something that you like? Okay, so talking about self connection, also the
Mm.
other thing is, it depends on your, I would say your external personality. So
Mm.
like
Tell me
Yvette,
more.
right,
Yeah.
maybe maybe very jovial, and then but of course you will have your downtime as well, right?
Yes, of course. Nobody actually sees that actually. It's just me and myself just thinking about life. Yeah.
It's the ability to be able to tell people, to be able to talk about it as well.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
because a lot of people that maybe counselors,
Mm.
they also have their own problems, but
Okay.
who do they talk to? Do they have an outlet? So it's always important that, like I always say, that there should be a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like if I have a very long day at work, my me time or my wind down time is to go and have walks, so you can see my background. So these are some places that I go to near my place.
Oh,
So I will maybe take
beautiful.
2 to 3 hours walk,
Okay.
uh, and then walk there and then walk home, and maybe sometimes have some teh halia and prata. Sometimes with friends, of course.
Mm.
Yeah, so self connection is a choice. It's like, do you want to connect with yourself, or do
Right.
you just choose to be a physical item in somebody's life? Like, oh, I know you by name, but how do you touch my heart?
I
And
see.
eventually, how do you add value to people's life lah? I don't think adding value is about giving money or donations or giving things to them, but it's more of, are your conversations meaningful, and etc. That's probably how self connection comes about. I don't think the self in self connection is really about me.
Mm-hmm.
Is really about the ability of, how you connect to many other people, because you don't come to this world alone, and you probably come to this world alone because you are born alone.
Right.
But how many lives have you touched? How many meaning conversations have you had, and etc. Yeah.
Wow. I think you're really cool because initially when I came into this discussion, I'm just thinking, oh, self-connection is about yourself. But you have really opened my perspective to say like self-connection is about, seeing yourself in other people and also accounting for other people as well. So that's really cool. Eye-opening,
Mm.
eye-opening. So actually on that point, can you share with me some experiences that you might have had in GUI where which help you to connect to yourself or rediscover the concept of self connection for yourself?
Yeah, so maybe I share. In fact, initially when I came to GUI, I was really down.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was looking for an outlet where I can do physical work
Mm.
and not talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the contrary of that was, I had to talk to a lot of people when I was in GUI.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it was something that was unexpected. So actually a little bit throw me off tangent. So I was like, okay, I want to go somewhere where I can volunteer, I can do a lot of physical work, chat it out,
Mm.
and then not talk to anybody.
Mm.
And then I think I will self heal. But I
I
didn't
see.
expect that, at that point of time, GUI actually offered me a space where I could talk to a lot of people. And then I
Mm-hmm.
realized, actually I could talk to a lot of people. Uh, I could do farming. I could rediscover nature.
Okay.
It's actually going back to the basic. And if you ask me earlier, what was one thing that was memorable was, I think you were probably not there yet. We started with brick making many years ago.
Yes, I only hear the stories, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, so we did brick making many years ago for
Mm-hmm.
some of our buildings. Yeah, in GOI. So brick making is not as easy as it looks.
Of course
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
yeah, I always have these fanciful ideas that if I go for overseas CIP, right, I need to build schools.
Yeah, yeah. That's like standard, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
but the bricks are delivered to you, you see.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay.
the bricks are already I would call it machine factory made.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are always delivered to you, cement, bricks,
Right.
all you have to do is lay them.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but brick making was the essence of making the brick from all the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for me, I believe that really struck me because I think there were many months involved in brick making,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really start from scratch. And Chia Chia at the point of time, I think she was coming up with the perfect formula to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that the bricks were sturdy enough. I'm sure she went through many trials and
That must have
errors.
been really trying, lah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, the question was at that point of time is how many bricks do we have to make, how many times do we have to go through trial and error, how
Mm.
many times do we have to shape the bricks and etc., and how many
Mm-hmm.
volunteers involved.
Mm.
Yeah, so the it goes back to self connection is that um would you do you really put in so much effort to start from scratch?
Mm.
Yeah, do you really do that? Like how many people have a chance to start from scratch? I think people who are probably in their 20s, 30s, 40s, they're already maybe somewhere in their life where whatever comes they will just take.
Right.
Yeah, but have they really asked themselves what they want and etc.? I think in this environment is very difficult lah. I think UI really gives me a different perspective of how you connect with yourself.
Mm.
Yeah, because you really look for things that you really want, like brick making,
Mm-hmm.
woodcraft,
Mm.
farming. It's self connection. It's not like, hey, I put a gun in your head, hey, you have to do this. It's really about you wanting to serve, wanting to give, wanting to see things happen, and out
Okay.
of your, it's really exactly out of your bare hands. It's like the Chinese saying 白手起家. So there are a lot of things in GUI, right, actually resonates with that saying that everything starts from scratch. You don't have a kitchen, you build a kitchen. You don't have a farm, you build a farm. You don't have a brick to build a buildings, you build a bridge. You don't have
Mm.
furniture in the premises, you build the furniture. So
Okay.
I think that is the essence of it. And if you don't have sunflower, you plant sunflowers. You don't have roselle, you plant roselles. Yeah, I mean that's the spirit of starting from scratch and self connection. Self connection is really about you wanting to be a better version of yourself,
Right.
and then start building from foundation.
Yeah.
I think
So,
it's okay to start anywhere as long as you are willing to do it.
very good point, actually. So, yeah, I do agree that self connection is about this growth mindset where you are willing to always just start anew, starting from the bottom. And a lot of people, myself included, sometimes they might have some inertia to actually start doing that because they think like, okay, if I start anew, maybe what about all my past experiences? Maybe I've wasted my time or something. But I think that's not true. I think it's it's this ability for us to adapt and to really keep finding ourselves over and over again that allows us to connect to ourselves also lah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's true.
Oh, and also I have one more question because I was listening to you really closely, and I did notice like there's this trend. So when you first started in GUI, you wanted to go in just for some physical work and then you can self heal. But then after that, it became more of a community bonding kind of situation. So do you think that your concept of self connection really evolved from just like, okay, I'm just gonna like heal by myself and just do my own thing, to more of, yeah, okay, now who now different parts of different people actually make a part of me kind of thing? Do you think that happened while you're in GI? I think that's beautiful
Because
actually.
I always think that me on my own, I could get through all the problems that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Like which school to choose when I was younger,
Right.
where to go, whether
Right.
I should take the school bus or take the public bus. I make a lot
Mm.
of decisions on my own.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I decided that I was down, I wanted to self heal. I thought
Mm.
of the way myself,
Mm.
but then I landed in July, and I think things changed after that.
Okay.
Because whenever I had problems, I usually keep it to myself.
Okay.
I don't really like to talk about it. But when I realized talking about it makes your problem very, very small.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like something that you think it's very major or something very catastrophic, but it's
Mm.
actually very, very small in the world of others. Yeah,
I
so
see.
that in this maybe last 10 years, I think that really changed my perspective a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, I would still sometimes want some quiet moments to myself. Yeah, maybe once in a while I will need to recharge. But
Okay.
recharging myself means like maybe I take a few hours off,
Right.
not doing anything like dazing.
Right.
But I'll try to be in somewhere greener.
Oh, okay.
And most
So
important,
nature does help you with like getting connected to yourself lah.
yes, because the sound of nature is very amazing.
Agree?
It's like listening
Yes.
to the animals. I don't know. You don't know what animals there are. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
whether there are snakes. There will be snakes coming out, and etc. So having some me time, I think, is pretty important. But
Okay.
don't self isolate. Yeah. So I'm sure you have heard about the five love languages,
5G.
or is it
Oh,
five
five.
Gs?
Yeah.
Okay. So
5G and five languages is different. Yeah. Yeah. Please
yeah,
continue.
but
Mm.
it's quite the same. It's actually quite the same. Yeah, so in terms of GUI 5Gs, right, it's about the values that we instill in people out of our activities, our connections, the things that we say and etc. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to love languages, right, I'm not drawing the context of love, but what I'm saying is in the same context, people also have different coping mechanism. Yeah, so people's even the five languages of love is also back to self-love and self-connection. There are probably not just five different types. Yeah, so there might be many, many different types how people connect with each other or connect with themselves. For example, some people connecting with themselves is playing computer games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some people is listening to music, so some people is doing yoga, or some people is even not talking. Not talking
Okay.
is actually for them a self connection,
Mm.
or maybe for some people self connection means eating a very hearty meal or cook a hearty meal, or
I know for you, self connection actually involves connecting with nature. So it's like overlapping because you like to go for walks, right?
yeah, going for walks and get a very bad tan.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's many different ways lah.
yeah, there are many very different ways.
Because I know that you love to be in nature and that's where you find yourself most in and you can feel you are most connected inside nature, right? Thank you so much for all your insights so far. We just like to ask, do you have any final pearls of wisdom for, let's say, somebody who is still trying to find themselves and to connect with themselves? What would be the next steps that they can take? What do you think to
Mm,
understand themselves better?
understand themselves better. I
Mm,
think if it helps, write it down.
right.
If not, then verbalize it.
Okay.
I think because you need to practice telling yourself what you need and what you want so that you have the ability to tell it to other people. Because, like they say, right, a lot of things happen once in the mind and then the other one in reality. So it has to
Oh,
first happen in your mind first.
agree. Okay.
Yeah. So uh, I think a lot of people have the challenge of voicing out what they need
Right.
and what they want. So it has to occur in their mind first. Lah. They need to
Okay.
need to be able to rehearse it first.
Okay. Need to know what they want first in their mind.
Maybe not even knowing what they want, but be able to organize their thoughts.
Organize your
Yeah,
thoughts in your mind first and it will manifest outside.
correct. Because
Oh.
I think a lot of people maybe they don't know what they want,
Mm.
but doing the elimination method helps them as well. So like
That's useful.
you
Yeah.
organize all your thoughts, right?
Right.
Okay, then after you do some elimination, then you know actually what you want. You might not know upfront what you want. It's
Okay.
like okay, I want mee pok for lunch. Then I want mee pok for lunch, right?
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
then the thing is, oh, then you start thinking, oh, what if the mee pok store is closed? What if mee pok is not available? Do I eat mee kia? I
Mm.
think that is also one way of how you process things as well.
Okay.
Like you
Agree.
know what you want. I want
Right.
mee pok, dry, fish cake,
Right.
no fish
Right.
cake, chili, no
Yes.
chili. But you reach there, no, there was no chili, there was no fish cake, there was no mee pok.
Okay.
Do you make changes? Do you make
Right.
amendments? And are you willing to make the adjustment? Then you tell yourself, no, I want to eat mee pok. So are you willing to drive another 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go to another fishball store, fishball noodle store just to buy mee pok?
Right.
Yeah,
I love your analogy because your analogy is like something so daily and something that we can understand. But it's the same mindset that we can apply for other things as well, whether it's your relationships or whether it's like career or what you want to do with your life. It's like you need to organize your thoughts basically with elimination method. And that's how you understand yourself, and that's how you actually put yourself in the present and execute what you want to do. Well, that's good advice. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shirley, for your time today. If any final words for the audience, I really appreciated your time, by the way. Yeah.
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 So thank
Mm.
you, Yvette, for being a very kind host as well.
I really enjoyed your insights. I learned today that self connection, it's not existing by itself. Sometimes it overlaps with connection with others and also connection with nature, as well as what I've observed with you and your lifestyle. And also I've learned the tips on how to actually self connect. Sometimes it involves just simple elimination of and figuring out what you want to do and organizing your thoughts. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Okay, have a good day ahead. Bye
Yes.
bye.
Bye bye.
Yee.